3 important tips on how to manage your skin barrier function. We live in a temperate climate in the UK, and I wanted to share with you 3 really important tips on how we can maintain our barrier function, especially when our skin flares up. Hello and welcome to another weekly newsletter with me. I'm Dr. Sunny Dhesi and this is Vysana Life. I'm here in my clinic in Oakham in Rutland, and I'm looking forward to discussing some hints and tips from clinic, skin health, overall health, and as always, we're taking you on a journey through hormonal change, through the aging process, the journey of longevity and regeneration with mindfulness, menopause, and medicine. So please stay tuned. If you haven't already prescribed, that's my job, subscribed to the newsletter on Vysana or our channel, please do look up Vysana Life on the YouTube channel and hit subscribe button and then the little bell for notifications so that every time I go or record, I don't go live yet, maybe when we go and record and place a video onto the channel, you will be notified and hopefully you will get value from these weekly newsletters. Thanks very much for watching and stay tuned. So what have we got this week? So 3 important tips on how to manage your skin barrier function. We live in a temperate climate in the UK, and I wanted to share with you 3 really important tips on how we can maintain our barrier function, especially when our skin flares up. We've been seeing a lot of this on virtual consultations, definitely. And I wanted to share with you, why am I talking about women's health in men's health medical screenings? So firstly, why am I talking about women's health in men's health medical screenings? So one of the jobs that I have, in addition to working in the clinic, is that I do private medical screenings, mainly for men. Just because of the nature of the clinic, it means that we don't have a chaperone. A chaperone is always important to offer. So if you are a patient coming into clinic and there's any sort of, I wouldn't say necessarily intimate or anything, intimate examination or any examination that involves perhaps removing clothes, that you should have a chaperone offered. Now, most of the time, a chaperone is declined, but part of women's health medical screenings in private sector does involve cervical smears, and that does need a chaperone. So that's why I'm predominantly doing men's health. So Wednesday is my men's health medical screenings day, and obviously with men, we are very lucky. We don't have to focus on our health as much. Nature has given us a helping hand in our 40s and 50s. If you've survived this long as a man in your 40s and 50s, in the modern era, obviously that is average, but you know, maybe even 30, 40 years ago, that wasn't the case. Life expectancy was low for men and women. Cardiovascular disease, heart attack, stroke, just aging, you know, it was a tougher paper round, put it that way. That's putting it mildly. And so in men's health clinics, we focus on cardiovascular risk. We focus on reducing the risk of diabetes. And what I do find is that men in their early 50s are starting to experience some sort of aging concerns as well. Not necessarily skin aging. I think for women, skin health and how women look at this is patient feedback that I get, is that is integral to health. For men, we're very lucky. Our skin tends to be okay unless we've got lots of sun damage or there's been damage in the past. So I'm digressing slightly. So bringing it back to the point, why am I discussing women's health and men's health screenings? Because I think it's a really good opportunity to educate men on women's health, especially postmenopausal health. So men who are married or have a partner, you know, their wives are of a similar age, and men are starting to experience some aspect of aging. So for example, the middle age spread, the metabolism is slowing down, they are suffering with potential stress, usually external factors like work related. However, what about their other half? What about that person at home that is juggling a lot more? And I recognize this from clinic, juggling potentially childcare, the house, a job, a lot more, multitasking. And what I get men to think about is, look, you're thinking about your own health. So let's think about your health holistically. Let's think about your unit. You know, if you are the provider from a financial sense, are you providing from a mindfulness sense? Are you providing from a medical sense? And are you providing from a menopausal sense? How much do you know about postmenopausal health? How much do you know about your wife's health, and how can you tie that and integrate it with your own health? You know, if you had a lack of exercise with men, metabolism slows down as insulin sensitivity decreases, so the risk of diabetes increases, and that needs to be an increase in metabolic efforts. That means an increase in exercise frequency, watching portion control, reducing alcohol intake. But what about your other half? What about your wife, your partner, your girlfriend, how are they managing their health? What are you doing together? What are you focusing on doing together? Are you going for that daily walk together, or that jog that provides you with a background of what we call zone 2 training, sort of steady state exercise for 30 minutes, just has to be a walk? How about going to a Pilates session together? Take time out during the week to do Pilates to help increase flexibility for both of you. And we do talk about sexual health as well. It's important for men. Erectile dysfunction is often not discussed, and that can affect relationships. And erectile dysfunction, if it isn't due to mindset or stress, it can be a sign, an early sign of cardiovascular disease. There is a strong correlation between erectile dysfunction and risk of heart attack. So that is why I discuss women's health in men's health, because I feel it's a perfect opportunity to educate my male patients, because women's health, I believe, has been done badly. Women's health has failed women globally. The system is failing women, it's broken, and our mission, my mission, is to help women on that journey. And who better to assist on that journey than the other person in your life, which, if it is male, that's what we're there for. So that's why we discuss women's health in men's health clinic screenings. So what's been happening in clinic? We've been very busy. We're doing a mixture of private medical appointments, GP appointments. Generally, it can be varied. It can be acute stuff. So when I say that, I mean sort of, chest infection isn't clearing, second opinions on medical matters, and also skin related as well. At the moment, the weather is temperate, fluctuating between cold and hot, and that's causing flare-ups of things like rosacea, dermatitis, and eczema, and therefore we are focusing on that in clinic. Also, injectable treatments are in the fore because patients want glowing, radiant skin, and skin boosters like Profilo and polynucleotides are working really well, because when we get into spring, you want your skin to be glowing, and injectables, skin boosters, are one method of doing that. So last but not least, I promised you 3 tips for helping with skin barrier function. As I said, in the UK, and maybe generally around the world in the Northern Hemisphere, weather fluctuates rapidly and it can play havoc with skin. And also our diets are a little bit more probably leaning on the indulgent side, because we have that lack of sunlight. We want that kind of joy. Our brains give us that when we eat high energy foods. High foods are high in carbohydrates, and we know that there is a correlation between those type of foods, processed foods, high refined sugar foods, with skin flare-ups. So what can we do about it? So firstly, the skin barrier acts as the skin's first line of defense. It's crucial for overall skin health, and when our patients' barriers are strong, it minimizes concerns. So we want to really make your barrier function resilient. We did that with a patient this week. We've been working with radio frequency and very simple skincare regime to improve the skin barrier function, reduce perioral dermatitis, and now what we're doing is microneedling, actually with polynucleotides, to help restore barrier function, really make the skin resilient. So when there is flare-ups, they're very, very minor. So for clinic, it makes it much easier to deal with these issues by incorporating some actives for smoother, manageable, undesirable effects and less hassle. So compliance is really important. So, we don't jump straight into the actives, the niacinamides, the retinols. We want to keep those to the later stage. That's our later stage. So a stronger barrier means less worry about making skin problems worse. Sometimes it needs a bit of trial and error. We have to look at expectation management in this instance. There can be flare-ups, there can be periods or a couple of days where things go over. But what we always say to patients is, get back in touch with us. You don't have to work through it. The skin should be doing the work for you, and obviously sometimes it can look a little bit aggravated. So now on to the fun part. So really helping the skin barrier to become efficient. I call it sort of short-term and long-term recovery, so it's a phased response. Tweaking is the idea. So we want to help the skin barrier function by using components like ceramides, fatty acids, products that have got a high content of those particular actives. So let's return to basics. So step 1, I promised you 3 steps. So step 1, return to basics. So very simple cleanser, very simple moisturizer, maybe a basic humectant serum, nothing too active like vitamin C or niacinamide or salicylics or AHAs or BHAs or PHAs, the list goes on, really, really basic. So perhaps, one, for example, is from a Bargi. It's a hyaluronic acid base with fatty acid sort of little beads in there that pop as you put them onto the skin, so rich in essential fatty acids. So that's step 1, so basics. And how long? Well, remember, the skin cell cycle is for 4 weeks. It takes 4 weeks for skin cells to migrate up and get to normal function. So you've got to give it 4 weeks of a simple, and it's boring. I know what you're saying. Look, Dr. Sunny, this is really boring. I'm using like Cetaphil cleanser or a Sensicalm cream cleanser. You've got me on a HA serum. I want all the exciting stuff, the anti-aging stuff. No, let's please stick to a very basic. When your skin flares up, go back to basics, go back to foundation, back to the foundations of restoring that skin barrier function. And that's what we want to do. Step 2. So we're starting to introduce a longer term approach. So that's where, if it's skin texture or pigmentation, that's where we can start introducing things like niacinamide. We have a great serum, I think, from Skin Better Science and Illumier. They produce great serums with niacinamide in them. They're very moisturizing serums, especially for that kind of sensitive skin. And that helps then to support the production of fatty acid, essential fatty components, whilst we're supplementing the skin barrier function, still using probably a cream-based cleanser, although we might start incorporating some exfoliation in. Step 3 in this process, and it's almost like a circle, because you can go back to step 1 when your skin flares up, but step 3, when the barrier is reached a stable stage and there's no more skin concerns, you're like, I'm really happy, I'm not getting these flare-ups, not waking up on Saturday morning, my skin is red, my cheeks are red, I've got this kind of breakouts. Then we can introduce more potent actives. And I think that's one for another time. What I will say in that step 3 is that we can start introducing some really nice, gentle exfoliation. And we can do that with lactic acid. I love using lactic acid peels in clinic, but there are some great lactic acid toners out there. I think AHAs are sometimes a bit too harsh on the skin. I think lactic acid is really good. It's a large molecule. It helps to rehydrate the skin, but in small doses. So step 3, I think, is introducing actives. And I would definitely introduce lactic acid into there to help kind of using that peel process at home. So those are our 3 steps. Remember, first step is back to basics, using simple cleanser, possibly basic serum, moisturizer, and SPF, creating that barrier, helping the skin be more resilient. Step 2 is potentially introducing some more active serums to help with skin texture. And we're looking at 4-week blocks. So we're looking at 4 weeks at a time. And I actually generally say to patients, give it about 2 months before we switch. And then you get back in touch with me, usually by virtual consultation. We can share the links with you. My video team, my marketing team will definitely share that with you. So that's it. Thank you for listening. So there we have it. Another rambling newsletter from me, Dr. Sunny Dhesi. This is Vysana Life. I'm here to support you on your longevity journey. And we are looking forward to seeing you in clinic, seeing you in virtual clinic. And if you have any questions, please do DM us, comment, email us at information@vysana.com. And have a great week. And I look forward to sharing more tips with you soon. Thanks very much.